Well, hey there.
Hey.
Evening. What's happening? What's going
What's
on? What's popping? What's crack-a-lacking?
What's going on? Y'all excited? Because I am. Hey!
Damn.
Y'all
So how
excited? I see.
I know, well, first of all, we want to say sorry about last week, Life was
Well,
lifing,
yes.
you
Yes,
know.
life was
And
life.
we are
And
here.
yes, we are here. Like the HBO special, we're here.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
I haven't watched any of this season.
This season.
It's all
So
new
it's
people.
funny.
So I'm like, man.
So yeah, this season it was the cast of 3 last season, and this season it's a cast of 4 because the way the show kind of happens, it's like they just kind of swap one person out, and they kind of swap between Jada, Essence Hall, and Latrice Royale. So they kind of switched out between the two of them. But they got to some towns that were, each had their own little, issues and stuff that was going on. And I think they probably wanted Latrice in one area and Jada in another area. But you'll watch it and kind of see what it is. But
Gotcha.
was it as good as the first one? No, not at all. But Sasha, let me be clear. Your girl Sasha Velour, when I say there's a
Of
performance
course, she slays every time.
so listen, I am not gonna say that I do not dislike Sasha. I think she's amazing. The bitch is she's great. But there's
Mm-hmm.
one performance that she did that I was just like,
Right.
that's all. Like that's it. That's all I got. I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, all right, yep. And it's in the last scene, not the last scene, the
Mhm.
last episode of that particular season. So, but it's amazing. So I try to catch it and watch up. I mean, get caught up and just kind of get involved because it's interesting. And I like the first season, but this season I don't know, something changed about it and it's a little different. But then also we're in an election year and there are things that are changing, and so people are doing all sorts of things for whatever reason. So
Mhm.
that's where we are. Um, but yeah, but I think it's okay. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy it, but I definitely think in comparison to the first season, you'll like the first season better.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, we'll catch up on it. I still got to catch up on Bridgerton and a bunch of other stuff. I'm behind on. Now I don't appreciate your scrunch face, so you just hush your little mouth. Just hush your little
these
mouth.
are my feelings about Bridgerton.
Just, just hush your little
I
mouth, sir.
Listen, I am encouraging all of you that are Bridgerton fans to go and live your best royal gay life. Baby, get it, make it happen. Do what you're going to do. Pull your wigs out, put your pumps on, get all your powder and get the girls up underneath the chest. Do what you got to do. I'll catch you probably in another 6, 7, 8 years, something like that, on a random Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, rainy day, snowed in, something, and nothing else on TV type of thing.
Right. So we got to say hello to everyone. So Atlas showed up first, and then Desmond. Hey, Des.
Yes. Listen. All right, eccentric. Hey, eccentric. What's going on? Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and take this time. First of all, I want to welcome everyone back to the show, and in particular, I want to welcome Miss Grace back to the show. She's been a little incommunicado, and you know how sometimes you can't talk, because your hands tied up or your legs tied up, or you got something stuffed in your mouth or something, you just indisposed. Whatever that is, she's been a little incommunicado as of lately. But I'm glad that she peeked her head out, or was paroled, or got this is part of her outdoor yard time, and so I appreciate her
Oh,
being there. Hey,
wait a minute. So is there a story there?
hey, Grace.
Shantae got a man at home? Okay.
Baby, listen. Shantae, not only do Shantae got a man at home, he always treats her right. He never finds his Listen. Listen, that's where she at. So listen, I'm encouraging her to do all that she gonna do. But we're gonna have to have this conversation after the day because I want to figure out what went on from the other day. So we're gonna chit chat about that a little afterwards. But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah. So Shantae and her man, Grace, are they tuned in as well? I just want to make sure because I don't want to talk about them and they not there. I just want to be, not that I really care. I do, but I don't because we're gonna talk about stuff. I ain't gonna talk about what I don't know, but I ain't gonna tell nothing that I ain't got no business telling. But again, tell them to come on and watch.
No, he passed.
Okay, all right,
all good.
So
how have you been these past 2 weeks?
Listen, in these past 2 weeks, I have been out here in these streets, like Miss Jennifer Lewis says. And having a wonderful time. Last week was wait, I'm in the wrong week here. Yeah, last week was Folsom. Yes. Mm-hmm. Last week was Folsom. That was coming off of the birthday weekend for me. So it was kind of cool. Like I made no plans because I really didn't have I wasn't trying to celebrate anything. And not that I wasn't trying to celebrate anything. I didn't have anything else to do. It was no big plans to do anything. Mm-hmm. And so I was adamant about keeping my schedule open to just do whatever it is that we want to do. Now, Grace and I talked about this because wait a minute, hold up, stop. Switchblade done tuned in. What in the name? Okay.
Hey, Switchblade. Hi, April.
Hey,
how you doing?
You popping in and into the spots, but hey. But I purposely kept my weekend open, and I'm glad I did because I want to be able to kind of just do what I want to do. And like I said, Grace and I have been having this conversation. Well, it's one of the MacPad 2.
Okay, Parker's here. The whole gang is here.
What is going on? But yes, I was able to I had a wonderful time just being around people, just being out and about. Switchblade. What? Oh no. Okay. Wait. All right. Okay. I saw you, Switchblade. I did see you. I forgot just that quick. I'm getting old. It's all right.
Come on, but, I know. I love it. I know what those means, and I am ready. We got to talk.
Oh, George. Okay. All right. So, but other than that, it was cool because I was able to do everything I wanted to do. And didn't necessarily know that I wanted to do, and really didn't even know that I needed, which was just to kind of be around people. So I appreciate the fact that I was out and about and was able to do all that I wanted to do and able to do things. Coyote, I saw you sneak in here. I didn't get to say hello to you. Where are you at? Are you traveling as well? Are you somewhere off in Abu Dhabi somewhere? Tell us where you are.
That brother don't stay mobile, stay still for too long.
Listen, I have people tell me that I'd be gone. I'm like, listen, Coyote be out and about, and we'll call you afterwards. Oh, I just got back from a 47-week tour and so forth and so on, and I was in 13 cities. And okay, all right,
right.
But yes, work has been worky. The Black Degree Factory decides that they have decided on how they're going to deal with some of the issues that have popped up, and yeah, I am annoyed with that because, again, there was a meeting. First of all, I hate late day meetings. If you know somebody's day is over at 5 o'clock, okay, great. Why are you scheduling a meeting from 4 to 5 or 4:30 to 5? Why? Why are we doing that? Why? And you also know that the person running the meeting is long-winded, so they always want to talk. So our scheduled half-an-hour meetings or hour meetings never go for what they're allotted. They always go over. So what you're saying is if you book a 4 o'clock meeting, then I'm going to be leaving after 5. So then that becomes a problem because then I get irritated because now you want to laugh and joke. And listen, I'm off here for the laughing and joking and everything else. It's 5 o'clock. I'm ready to go home. I get it that we have stuff that we're supposed to be doing. We have all these other hours during the day that we're supposed to be getting stuff done. But we can't, I get irritated. So me leaving work today later was not necessarily what I wanted to do, but we've had a lot of that, but we're getting towards the end of that. But the problem is we're getting ready to get into the beginning of this new cycle with a new year and a new system and new stuff and new problems. And there's a lot that while we've planned for it, there's still some stuff that we don't know and we won't know until it happens. So that's where we are. We know what it's supposed to do and how it's supposed to work, but that's what we're going to do.
Oh, look, it's Justin. Justin, did you see my comment? Justin said he interviewed 2 people, and he said the question was, if I was to ask you to tell me a movie that would help me get to know you better, what would it be? The first candidate said The Greatest Showman. The second one said War Horse and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I said, so you interviewed two homosexuals? Because if someone just randomly is like, tell me a movie that describes you, and if someone says my favorite movie or the movie that describes me is The Greatest Showman, I am just going to assume that you are a homosexual. And I don't mean that in like that's a bad thing. I'm just like, oh, noted. Just like today when I was on the train and the conductor, who was cute-ish, he was like sex party. He was like communion cute.
Got you.
He had on a rainbow, you know, because Amtrak gives us rainbow lanyards, which I still need to go scoop one up. So he had on his rainbow lanyard, and I was like, "Where did we get?" I you know, the bitch, you know, bitch used very careful language. I said, where did you get one? Because I couldn't find mine or my contact for them. So, you know, it's not like, hey girl, but it was like, you know, a subtle, you know.
You was walking over like, are you a friend of Dorothy?
Right. Like, do you know Dorothy? Are you one of her friends?
Right. Listen, Justin, would you like a piece of candy?
Right. So wait a minute. So more people have joined. We've got Aztec Daddy and Justin.
Hey, what's up,
Justin Terry Smith, noted producer and award winner Justin Terry
noted
Smith.
Producer, award-winning actor, producer, singer, award. Listen, we also want to give him another award. Listen, I have an ass. Let's be clear. I have an ass. Justin has a situation that is an ass. That's what we got. Y'all hold on for 1 second, because my child is losing her mind. She's pulling something from underneath the damn door. You lost your damn mind. What's wrong with you, girl? What's wrong with these kids? They doing good. But yes, and he is an award-winning husband and partner and boyfriend and all the other things, I believe. But you know, that's what the streets are telling us. I mean, you know, I've checked your Yelp reviews. I've checked your Yelp reviews. I mean, I don't see any negative reviews. I mean, I've saw a couple like averages, but it was very few of those. But you know, for the most part,
you know, you got to put in an average or two to make it sound like you know. Yeah, he's also the best grip. I mean, that's what I heard.
I mean, but listen, that the streets is talking. I mean, that's what they're saying. So I mean, I can only talk about what they're talking about. I'm just saying
that part.
That's all I got.
So did you have fun at Folsom?
Listen, first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed myself at Folsom. Like I said, because it was something that Deviant and I were chatting about, and then we kind of like last minute kind of like made it happen type of thing. Well, not necessarily last minute, but we had talked about it, but then we kind of were loose with it. And it happened. I got to see people. I got to feel on people. I got to see people being felt on. I only saw two people screwing and one blowjob. And that was it. That's all I saw. Like the rest of it, I mean, it was titties everywhere. It was dick and balls out, you know, in little spots, whatever, little nipples here and there. But you know, that's it. Now we did get to see some wonderful demos. So that was amazing. Mr. Greatest Showman, Let Me Be Perfectly Queer. Not really gonna, say any names, but I'm gonna just go ahead and point. But yes, there were several other great demos and things going on. But bitch, I now need to listen. Everybody's in the room. Let me just talk to you about this one motherfucking thing. Did I send you listen? Did I send you the picture, Dominion, of the green motherfucking balloons?
No.
Okay, listen.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
I listen. I'm gonna get to it in a second. I gotta look. It's in my. I gotta figure out where I put it because I put it somewhere to the side. But listen, I'm gonna show you this picture in a second. One of the most amazing things about Folsom for me was the fact that you get to see all these different types of people, men, women, gay, straight, everything across the diaspora, with African, New York, Philadelphia, East Coast, American, everything, just everything. One of the performers that they hired or had to come and perform, I don't know what type of music it would actually be. I'm going to call it something alternative, but they walked up on stage and had on this outfit and was carrying some balloons, and face was wrapped up in some sort of gauze or something. You couldn't really see. You just saw hair. So they got on and they were chit-chatting for like a hot second, and then they just started singing. They just started yelling. They even took the microphone, opened up their mouth, and dropped said microphone in their mouth, the whole top of it, and Jen just kept talking as if it was just like singing a song. Like, I paid attention to all that. Now, these balloons were following him, and I was like, "Why are you holding on to these damn balloons?" Like, okay, all right, cool, hold on to these balloons. Baby, he would perform, and then at the end of what I thought was his song, but was the end of his set, said person turned around, leaned forward a little bit, reached his hand behind him and in betwixt the cheeks of the buttock, and pulled out of their booty hole a motherfucking dildo. And not only was the dildo freshly out of the behind, it was what the balloons were attached to. They were attached to the balloons. So they stood there with the balloons and let them go. So Sunday evening on the 16th of June, there was some green balloons floating over New York City with a butt plug or a dildo attached to it. It was a butt plug. I'm sorry. It was a small butt plug that was attached to it, floating over New York City. Now, listen, let me be clear.
That is what you call art.
On this earth, baby, I've seen many a thing. Baby, I have seen many of things. I have done several things, but I've seen many of things. But baby, that right there, I literally was sitting there like,
that's what you call art. Art.
That's all I got to say. Because listen, I was speechless. I didn't know what the fuck. Listen,
you were amazed. You were flabbergasted.
So again, if you have found, remind you, right, the ping pong scene from Priscilla, yes. So that whole thing of like all her friends know what's going on. They were like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna do it." Listen, but I was on the opposite end. I was like, "What the fuck is going on? What?" Listen, it was amazing. But anyway, if you were in New York City and you saw these green balloons floating across the city, do know there was a butt plug attached to it, and do know that person had left a mark on Folsom and New York City forevermore. That's all I got to say. It was amazing. That's all I got. It was amazing.
Well, all right. Yeah. Well, my Folsom weekend started on Friday. I took the train up and got to working, and that was work is work. And then so Friday, I decided that I was going to check out the local iteration of Communion. So Communion was I've never called that dude back.
What are you talking about?
Part of the story.
Gotcha.
Shit, what was his name? I'll just say dude from Communion.
Okay. So FYI, I have just shared the picture with Dominion. So at some point, he may put this on the screen and we can zoom in on it so you can actually see what it is. Special shout out to the social media extraordinary person who caught all this on film or found a picture somewhere. But thank you, Deviant, because baby, no one would have believed me if you haven't seen it. You would not believe me.
I'm trying. Let me see if I can pull it up. So, starting on Friday, so I went to communion, and it was cute. It was not as many people as I would have thought, but I think because there's just so many. There was at least four other parties going on, sex parties, or gangbangs or whatever you want to call them, happening in New York City that I was aware of. And that's only what I was aware of. And then always places like the Cock and, shit going on at the Eagle. So there are a ton of places to go. But I wanted to go and I wanted to see what was happening in the world. So I went and I had a cute time. It was different than other communions because this was in Chelsea. So they were looking, it was a very Chelsea crowd. So they were looking, if they were looking for black people, black men, they were looking for a very specific kind of black man, okay. Tall, muscular, 6-packs with 10.5 inches. And, I get no complaints, but I do not have 10.5 inches. And I do have a 6-pack, but it has been stretched out a lot. But, I still left some DNA all over the city. And what I was remembering was that there was a cutie who actually was working the event that I took a little bit of a shine to. And we started talking, and we did exchange numbers, and I texted him when I got home, but then the rest of the weekend took over and, other shit ended up happening. And so we didn't finish we didn't follow up. So I need to call him. So let me see if I can get this picture shown. So before I finish my story.
While you're doing that, Aztec, baby, was that when you said out like it was the same? But baby, were you participating in this as well? Because you have you are part of the talented whole crew. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos. But anyway, here we go. Like I'm zooming in, baby. This is the balloons and the fucking butt plug.
That's what you call a talent.
That was it. That is. Listen. I don't know who that person was. I don't even know what their name is, but baby, listen, you have left a mark on New York City.
And when those balloons popped and that dildo fell on somebody's head.
Ooh. I don't make go.
So yeah, that was a lot. So then Saturday, I spent the afternoon in Harlem with the bitch. And so that was nice. We went and had dinner at a cute little spot and then went back. And, I was saying to him, he was like, well, he didn't really have anything else to do for the day. And, for various and sundry reasons, his butthole was out of commission. So we were like, he was like, well, I said, well, we could just hang out or do whatever. I don't really get a chance to come to Harlem. And then I said, what's interesting? All these times I've been to New York City and I've never gone to Central Park. So that's what we did. No, we did not carry on in Central Park, girl. I got a good job. I don't do that.
I mean, listen,
But he did get, because he's lived in New York City his whole life. And he used to, when he was a teenager, work as an intern in Central Park. So he was like, yeah, so the Rambles is over this way. And I was like, we can let's go check it out. He was like, it's like a 30-minute hike deep into the thing over whatever. And I was already at 21,000 steps. So I was a little bit, I'm good. So that was fun. But we did get to hang out and everything. Then Saturday night, I was already planning to go and hang out at the Onyx Suite. And then I saw a picture of Shinzy. So there was a picture of all of the brothers from Onyx, New York Northeast at Rock Bar the night before, and there was Shinzy. And I was like, wait a minute, that bitch came into town and didn't say nothing to nobody. I mean, not like I told him I was coming either. But anyway, so we were all having a wonderful time in the suite at the Malia Hotel in Chelsea. It was literally in the next block from the hotel that I was staying at, which was literally a block from where the sex party was. So,
okay.
I had also told the owner, because I touched base with the owner and we got to chit chatting and stuff, because he used to live in DC and everything. They were having another party called Bear Union that night that I was going to go to, because I was like, oh, okay, so these are going to be guys who might be, you know, a little more into me. Because while I did have fun, I did not have slammers fun. I did not have, right, you know, I only, you know, I mean, some people might think there's still a lot. I only fucked like 4 dudes and came twice, you know, where slammers, you know, we often get into double digits.
I mean, listen.
And so we were going to do that, but then I also don't like to, like when I go on vacation or do these things, I don't like to have everything planned out to the minute. And I'm down to be flexible. So everybody was like, oh, we're not going to, you know, we're going to go back to Rock Bar because they're having some sort of a function there. And I also knew that Cutie Patootie Switchblade was going to be one of the dancers. So I was like, oh, this is great. And also, no, that was something else. Switchblade was one of the dancers, and a bunch of us went there, and us had a wonderful, I had a wonderful time that night.
There's no indication that you would not.
Well, so you know, they got the little curtained off area, right? So the first dude I fucked was, you know, just some big booty white guy, and I was like having a good time, but then like the aroma started to rise up, and I was like, what's going on here? What's happening?
Oh my God.
So, you know, that ended up, and then, you know, I dipped my toes back into the waters of Lake Minnetonka a few other times and had a wonderful evening. And so I hadn't really fully coordinated with the brothers from the chapter. So, you know, last year I did a lot of spanking and other stuff. And so but we didn't necessarily talk about all that. So I did have 2 paddles. I had found this set. There's this little, we got to go just to check it out. There is this cheap store out in Virginia where everything is either $5, $7, or $10. So 99.95% of the shit is crap. You know, they got shoes, they got, you know, old phone cases, all kinds of foolishness. But they had this cute set of what's the game? Pickleball paddles.
Oh, yes.
One was red and one was blue. And it was like $5 for the set, and it came with a bag and everything. So I bought that and a small flogger and stuff, but I wasn't really prepared. But I, along with Artifact and Carl and Sage,
that's my new husband. We already have a. No. In my mind, me and Artifact, you know, listen.
You an Artifact? Oh, okay, yes.
In my mind, because listen,
Artifact is a cutie. I just want the details afterwards, and I want to see like 3 pictures.
But all I'm saying is the fact that you made me feel like a small little girl. I said.
He does have a certain energy about him that, you know, if you are into.
And he's 19 feet tall. He's 19 feet tall. He's a Titan. That's what the fuck he is.
No. You are thinking of Titan.
That's what
his name is Titan. Artifact is. Yeah,
I know Artifact. I'm sorry. But I thought you mentioned Titan's name, saying that he was there as well. But you mentioned
Titan was there. Titan was there, but the one who was doing the demos with me was Artifact.
Artifact, yes. Artifact was doing a wonderful.
And Titan, yeah, Titan does. I mean, Titan is like 9 feet tall and 6 feet wide in the best possible way. That man is a solid wall of light-skinned beauty.
Made me feel like I was 5 years old when he was offering me a piece of candy, and I was like, "Thank you."
Hi. So, but he looks at me like a mentor. So so I don't think I think we're looking for the same thing. So I don't think that would ever happen. So, but anyway, so I spent that person with the balloons. All I heard was this noise that was fucking up my rhythm. Because if you'll see, there's lots of videos of me spanking, and it was always to the beat. Because that's how I do. I mean, I can spank in total silence, but if there's a beat in the room, so if the beat is like boom, 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 that's exactly how I'm spanking, or paddling. And that rhythmless noise, which I mean is a type of music, but it was ruining my thing because I was trying to spank someone, but every time you get a rhythm, you like tap, 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 and it's right here because it was across the street, like right in front of us. Right. So you couldn't like tune it out or whatever. Right, Switchblade, we're all people of the diaspora. That music is in our blood. So it finds its way into everything that we do. So I probably spanked or paddled or flogged maybe 25 people.
It was at least 5 in that I remember. At least 5 that I remember. Now I got there a little bit.
But there was a bunch of people before you got there. And then also while you had. So, as usual, it was, there were, I appreciate bodies of all types, but there were some that were memorable enough for us to make connections.
Pink shorts.
Pink shorts. The thing that annoyed me about Pink Shorts was not him personally, was that when the photographer from Folsom came up and was like, "Can I take your picture?" She asked me, and I said, "Sure," because I'm Dominion. My face is out there. If I wanted it to be a secret, baby, it's way too late for all of that. But he specifically said, just as long as you don't get my face in it. And so that's fine. So any pictures were taken from like behind. So if you knew the guy in the pink shorts, then you knew who it was, but none of the official pictures or anything have his face in it. Next day, here I am getting tagged, or Kyriakos messaged me, texted me and said, "Girl, you are going viral." I was like, "Bitch, what are you talking about? But show me." So then there is a picture or video of me spanking Pink Shorts from his face. So his face is, he's not looking into the camera, but it's looking at him and me behind. And so I would just say that everything about Pink Shorts turned me on. His look, his long, sort of messy afro, and the way that his booty hole clenched. So like I started spanking it, right? So here's his booty hole.
But listen,
I started spanking him, and then I just, you do the experiment, right, to see if the girls is into it. So you do the first, you start spanking, and you start spanking around the hole, and then you do like a rub over the booty, and he tuned it up a little bit, and then I did like this. See this finger? See this finger? I really should I paint this finger orange, or should I should I switch to this one?
I don't really.
So I did like this a couple of times, and then he like just, and I said, "Wink for me."
But hold on. Here's the thing: you watching their body language. So when you see pictures of people that are taking artistic photos and romantic, erotic photos, and they're wrapped all around each other, baby, from the side that I was standing on, bitch, y'all had on clothes. That was the only reason that kept y'all from being erotica. Because bitch, y'all, the way he was wrapped around you.
Well, so whenever you see, right, so I will spank anybody. I will spank any body and anybody that wants to be spanked. But if I am personally attracted to you, you will be able to tell, because if you are in front of me, I will come to the side and put my arm so your neck is resting in the crook of my arm and bring you close to me so that I can like be talking to you. And so as I was spanking him and starting to do all of this, I said, wink for me. And
Listen,
he winked and
but it wasn't, I'm telling y'all, listen, he's making it sound very by the numbers. Bitch, to look at it, bitch, you was like, I felt like, what's that name? Pure Soul. They must be in love. Like, I mean, it was like that. Like, I mean, I'm here for it. But baby, that's the energy that was coming off of that scene. Like, I was like, okay. And I don't know if you paid attention to everybody around there, but everybody that walked past that spot that you were in, everybody was like, oh yeah, girl, let's do that.
For the time that we were doing it, it was just me and him. I exactly secret.
Exactly.
Yeah. It really was that. I was totally tuned out. I was definitely in a headspace with him. I could hear the music, but everything was like on mute for, kind of. And, I'm not saying that, I'm in love with the man, but, I could be. I'm not. We did exchange Instagram information, and I don't want to put all of his business out in the street because, we had a fun time, and it was a very intimate thing for me because y'all, I've told you before that I'm an emotional vampire. So I get off on that kind of exchange of energy. So some people just like to be spanked, and it was that. But there was also this this boy, and I don't think he'll be mad if I say that he was trans. But, we had that same sort of energy. He was white and he had these pretty blue eyes and he was nice and slim. And so I was just like, is it okay if I touch you? And he was like, yes. It's like, Lisa, is the water enough?
Yes, Wendy.
It was very that. So that was the one. And then I spanked a guy who I had spanked before last time. Now, he's a whore. He's a whore's whore, and ain't nothing wrong with it. Everybody know him as a whore. He got up on the table, and he was like, just like last time, Daddy. And I was like, yes. I used my Benny Gesserit voice, and baby, he spread his cheeks, and a drop of cum dropped down. I was like,
listen,
yes, bitch. And so for him, I did the same thing. I had his arm in the crook, but baby, I got all the way down to the knuckle inside of that man.
That was the last one. The tall. That was
no. That was the last one. I'll get to him.
Okay.
The one that I was at some point, I was just like, girl, I gotta stop because I can't go no further.
Because when that thing walked up, he was like, I said, oh, this is going to be fun. And I was like,
he was lots of fun. So finishing up with the piglet.
But wait, we got to talk about Switchblade and his hydration system. The entire fucking Folsom.
Wait a minute, I missed all of that because remember I was at the booth 90% of the time.
Listen, ask him what he was. It was hot. It was 9,000 degrees. Somebody almost passed out. Everybody should have water. No, not Switchblade.
Switchblade people's piss.
Listen, Switchblade had his hydration system. Listen, I'm gonna let him go ahead and tell it, but I figured I was gonna go ahead and mention it because I found it hilarious. But I mean, I ain't gonna put no pressure on you, nothing. I'm gonna tell him afterwards. I'm just saying. But listen, I mean,
if I had known that all the time I was holding all that water, but Switchblade already know. Switchblade already know what the deal is between me and him. I needed to relief, but Switchblade know where my fluids is gonna go.
Listen, that all I was saying is we know that.
No, hold on. Switchblade knows where all of my fluids are going to go.
Well, listen. We also know that Switchblade drinks brown, so that's what we know. Okay.
There we go. So the last guy came up and was like, I want to be spanked. And I was like tapping and spanking. And then I was like, you want more? It's like, yeah. There was like a 10 or 12 minute scene. And at some point, I was like, okay, thanks. Because he would have just kept going. And I was tired. By that time, it was like 5:15. And but I was not. That's what you get. I was in a headspace like that whole day because my feet were not tired. I was totally good to go. I was having a lovely time. And then I had good ramen from the spot around the corner. So Folsom. Yes, Josh, we will definitely all have to go to Folsom next year. Folsom East is so much fun. And I've already started making plans to be in San Francisco for Folsom, San Francisco. So
Cortez and his husband was there. Glad to see him.
Yes. And Cortez, I saw Cortez with his cakes out on the beach.
Listen, Cortez, listen. You can't stop Cortez. First of all, he was always going to be naked, but it's like now it's like it's more cakes, more ass, more chest, more arms, more biceps, more triceps. Shit. Hey, Triple X. Hey, Triple XX.
So we already talked about the fact that Triple X is going to be at Folsom too. So we'll get to see and meet new people. So I am ready to go. I am ready to party. No, girl. Aztec asked if I was staying in the same deluxe hotel that I stayed in last time. What was that joint called?
I don't.
Where it was the $55 motel of San Francisco. It was no, we're not staying there.
Okay, well, all right.
We're almost certainly staying at a Marriott property or possibly a Hilton, or because the bitch is coming with me and Epic might be coming, so we might be staying at we might be renting an Airbnb.
I liked their glasses. I thought their glasses were sharp.
Who?
The bitch.
Yes. He will, I try to be sensitive of any partners that I have, when he was like, I'd love to come, but I was like, I just want to be very clear with you. I'm going to be busy the whole time. So if you're at this particular event, if you are looking for us to explore this event together, that's probably not going to happen because I'm going to be here spanking people and putting fingers in their buttholes. So, but he was fine with it. He lives in Harlem. He takes the train all the time. So he was good. He saw somebody he knew. He said hello. And then he was like, okay, I'm going back home and I'm going to relax. Because again, it's like when you live in a city, and if you don't live there, you're like, hey, let's go out. Let's do all of this. Let's hang out and do all of this. If you live there, you're like, girl, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
In fact, we had spent the whole day together on Saturday. So he walked all the places that I walked, so we was good.
Yeah, we do that here in DC all the time when everybody comes, especially for NAL. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to such and such." I was like, "Girl, go on. It's too cold."
Knock yourself out, baby. I'll be right here in this hotel I paid for. I'm good.
But yes.
So that was my Folsom. So Folsom altogether was a lovely time to be had. I totally enjoyed myself and looking forward to next year. I guess we might as well spill the beans that for reasons I had to cancel my my rich white woman European adventure next week. I had to be an adult and be there for other people who need me. So the other people, what?
You you had to cancel the trip. That's it.
Yeah.
React.
And but I'm making up for it because I've already reserved and bitch. So how about I reserve this fabulous house with this fabulous pool and yesterday and booked my flight. Now I'm just gonna find another house. But the guy messaged me today. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. We just found out that our house is now under contract." And I was like,
"Y'all couldn't do that shit. Y'all couldn't put."
I mean, if the shit was on the contract, then you shouldn't have even had the shit on the thing. So as soon as they refund my thing, because there was like 50, 75 houses available. So it's not like I couldn't find another house. But you know, I like a house that's close to Wilton Manors, that's not gonna be super far. So if I decide I want to go and get rural fucked up,
Right.
I could just get an Uber and it ain't gonna be super far. Or like a lot of the places we've stayed, we could actually walk if we needed to. Wait a
Bougie girl. Wait a damn minute.
That's
Wait a minute. Bougie girl. First off, let's start off. First of all, we are happy to see you. But where the hell you been, girl?
Shit.
Where the hell you been, girl? What's going on? You come in for 5 minutes, whatever, and then we got the last show before we. Where you been, girl? What's going on? We done talked about all the good shit. Where you been?
Right. We'll deal with you later, young lady.
Yeah, like I mean, come on, like
So bottom line, I had to cancel the rich white woman European vacation. Now the MacPack and Casa de Volt are still going, but the Dominion crew, me, Epic, and Best Friend are not going to go. But them tickets can be used at another time, so stay tuned, because we have thrown around such ideas as South America, Hawaii, Australia, something in the Caribbean. What?
Bitch, everything in Australia will kill you. Bitch,
girl, we're not going to the Outback, honey. We're going to be in Sydney or Melbourne with the homos.
I don't care where y'all go. I am not going to Australia. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not doing it. I think it's a great place. Just y'all go. Y'all have a wonderful time, baby. Take lots of pictures. I am not going to Australia. I don't like, baby. No. I've seen one horror movie.
So negative. Don't be so negative.
No.
Why are you being so negative?
Every insect and animal and shit. The motherfucking spiders alone. I was like, bitch, I'm out. I'm out. Nope.
Epic. Hey, Epic. Don't be so negative. You're being negative, Epic. That's what. Hold on. If I say it like Janet Jackson, Epic. You're being negative. Why are you so negative, Epic?
And I am, girl.
Epic, why are you negative?
Because it's Australia, girl.
So we'll be making up for it. I'll be spending
Coyote. It's the motherfucking spiders.
9 days in Fort Lauderdale, getting my groove on and totally relaxing. Then I got to go to LA 2 weeks later for some LLC stuff. So you know, the hocation will continue there. Remember what happened last time I was in LA? Blowsies. So I'll be looking for more blowsies and that. And then at the end of September will be Folsom. So, and you're coming to Folsom, so we're gonna have us a good old time. So
listen, I will also probably, there's a good chance that I'm going somewhere. I just have to wrap my mind around it, and I'm pulling a coup d'etat. I'm going to figure out how this is ready.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, shall we get into some tickety talks?
Come on, bring it up with the tickety talks.
All right. So
tickety. Ow.
The first one. I gotta unmute. Then I'll go back.
Hello, Alexis. Come in. Smile.
First of all, both of these outfits are giving everything, because this silk, because this isn't satin, because this is silk. This silk ensemble and this I'm in mourning but still fabulous look is everything. So
get into it. It's three separate pieces actually, but the way it's cut, it's like a jacket.
Right. It's a jacket. There's something underneath, and then the skirt.
It's bad.
So
emptied 1,000 bottles of champagne one New Year's Eve at the Moulin Rouge. So Parisian legend has it. I don't think you'll be quite so cheery after I've gone. Which may be in a moment, my dear.
That is why I posted this, because he said, I don't think you'll be quite so cheery when I'm gone, which may be in a moment, my dear. I just got to say that Dominique Devereaux, she's not one to be fucked with.
At all. At all.
So this. What the fuck? Oh, okay. I see what it's doing. It's taking me. Oh, well, we'll do it here.
On somebody.
When they're not interested in you.
Put again.
Give up on somebody.
When they're not interested in you.
What if they say they're interested in me?
Okay.
They tell me they love me.
Okay.
But they don't show it.
Then they don't love you and they're not interested in you.
You think so?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what people say. What matters is what they do.
What about like it's like showing nothing until it's about to end, and then they come in with the doing.
That means it was always nothing, and the doing is a manipulation.
Yeah.
So if their pattern is initially doing lots and then doing nothing, that's the reality of the pattern is that was a facade and this is the reality, is the nothing.
So how do I let go of that?
Well, you have to get out of your imagination and ground yourself in reality. Your mantra is, I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with me.
When should
Baby, the way that this woman was whispering but screaming at me was disrespectful.
I listen. I'm going to share these two quotes that I got that was shared with me earlier today, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I laughed my ass off. Someone said, "Life is too short to dance with ugly men."
Yes, I've heard that one before.
I had never heard that, but I kikied. But this is the one that took me over the top. They said, "Make sure your cologne or your perfume matches your face."
Oh,
Bitch, but I can't unsee it because, bitch, I have said, damn, that smells good. Oh,
yeah, I have seen many an ugly person with a fabulous scent.
When I say it touched my spirit today, oh God. Okay.
All right, so back to it. So let me go hold on. Unmute it. Go forward.
Hey there.
And then back.
So you're gonna take this boat north towards the Ohio River, and then you're gonna. Harriet, why are we getting in a boat? Where's the train at? Train? What are you talking about? Train? Man, I told you there wasn't no train. No, Harriet, the flyer said it was an underground railroad that was gonna take us to Ohio. Why are we getting in a boat? No, it's a series of networks and paths and homes that'll help you get to freedom, brother. It's not a train system. Harriet, I was promised a locomotive train system. Now you want me to get in a boat? In the water? That water do look kind of dirty, I'm not gonna lie. We will use what the Lord has provided us. I bought business class seats and I got a window seat. Who sold you tickets? Daryl? Brother, why would you buy tickets to an escape? I just don't see why you would call it the Underground Railroad if it's not a train. The Underground Railroad is a metaphor for the escape route that we're taking. Did you think I owned a train? What are you talking about? Okay, so we get on the boat and then what? Well, after you sail up the river, you're gonna get out and you're gonna meet at a cabin. My buddy Bill lives there. He's gonna take care of. Who is Bill? That sounds dangerous. You want me to go where? With who? Bill's a good guy. We talk all this. What if he's not home? What then? What you gotta have faith, brother. It's a lot of hassle. You know. You need to trust me. It's a lot of walking. What are you saying? It's a lot of walking. I wasn't expecting this much walking. So you're gonna take this boat north.
Baby, he's the one that does the
siblings and going to Olive Garden.
Oh my God! And where was it? Like the way he says it, I was like, this motherfucker is hilarious.
All right, so this is the one that you sent me that I think this is a stud.
So I think I don't know, but it would be better if you can show it on the full, because that's a lot. That one is a lot. If it doesn't show up, if it shows up like the last one.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
Pregnant in Hawaii.
Hold on. Now.
I got my mother pregnant in Hawaii. Now I know what you're thinking. And no, it didn't happen like that. So let me tell you the story. I'm a 19-year-old man from a small city in South Carolina. And I didn't grow up with a mother. See, my mother...
First of all, the way his nostrils are winking at me is already murdering me. So, but we'll just keep going.
Walked out on me when I was 3. My father took care of me. Now, my father was a good man because he did what he had to do to raise me. He was very abusive, though. He said every time he looked at me, it reminded him of my mother. He smacked me. Even when I brought in good grades, they weren't good enough. If I did anything, it wasn't good enough. If I cleaned the bathroom, he made me clean it with a toothbrush. He made me wash the dishes with no soap. You know how hard it is to get a dish clean with no soap? Yeah, my dad was very abusive, but I don't blame him. I look just like my mom, and he couldn't stand that. He couldn't stand to look at me. But by the time I was 18, I was done with that. See, I signed up for the military, and next thing you know, I was on my way to Hawaii. Oh, but when I got to Hawaii, life was great. I'm talking about women, weather, money, and the beach all in one. Oh, yeah. And I was a single man with no kids. Life was great. I was having fun. Even my relationship with my dad got better. He called me to check on me sometimes. I guess since he didn't have to see me, he ain't had nothing to beat on. Now, this one night I was having so much fun, I didn't want the party to stop. It had to be at least 2 a.m. and all the bars were closing except for this one that was 25 and up. I showed on my military ID. Let your boy slide on in there. And man, it was fun. I ran into this chick. She was at least 47. But I was into older chicks. I guess I had some mommy issues I needed addressed. And me and her hit it off. I'm talking about in the club, we had the chemistry. She was like somebody I knew, but I never met. We exchanged numbers, and after that, like clockwork. We was hanging out all the time, going out on dates, sharing each other's secrets. She told me she came to Hawaii years ago. She said she fled her ex-husband. He was a very abusive person, physically and emotionally. She said she never wanted to experience that again, and she was scared. She left her kids behind too. And I was like, oh, you don't think your kids deserve to have a mom in their life? She said, trust me, my kid would be better off without me. I would have been a shell of the person I am now. That relationship, I wouldn't have survived. And I understand. Coming from an abusive background myself, I understand that sometimes you got to get away with that. So we just dropped the subject. A year's passed. I'm 19 now. Our relationship is healthy. We're in the doctor's getting her a checkup. Turns out she's 5 months pregnant. I'm as happy as can be. The doctor says, hey, there's a chance that your baby could come out with special needs. I say, well, why is that? I said, well, a lot of the DNA between you two matched up, and it won't be healthy for the baby. It's kind of like incest. I said, is it kind of like incest or is it? He says, well, it's showing signs that you two could be related. Quit playing, doc. Nah, seriously though. we could be related. Well, ain't there some tests that you could run to see? Nah, baby, I don't have any family in Hawaii. Oh yeah, that's right. You're not from Hawaii. Well, where are you from? She from South Carolina. Well, what was your ex-husband name? Huh. Your ex-husband got the same name as my dad. Say what, doc? That's my mother. Huh. Small world we live in. After a year dating, we done did everything a mom and son shouldn't have done. I can't feel sad now. My mom looks at me and she says, hey, I have no right to call you my son. I left when you was 3. There's no more that I could do for you. I have no right to claim you. And I says, right. I don't look at you as my mother. That's fine. You know what? We just leave the attachments and we'll just stay together. I chose to stay with my mom in our relationship because I loved her. I didn't love her as my mom. I loved her as my girlfriend. And as for my mom, she agreed to keep the relationship and the baby. She said, I never got the chance to be your mother, but maybe this is my chance to make it right. Everything was good. Only thing left was I had to tell my dad. I told my dad, he disowned me on the spot. He said, how could I not know? And I said, well, if you never showed me any pictures or told me what she looked like, how was I supposed to know? He said, that's just a feeling you know when you know. And I said, no, I don't. My whole life, I reminded him of my mother. And now I finally meet her. And she is just like me. He said he didn't want anything to do with us or the incest baby. And I told him that's fine. I got my mother pregnant in Hawaii. And I'm proud of it.
This story is bullshit.
I don't know if it was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time it was, but baby, when I say, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this story doesn't make any sense because your doctor would be able, potentially, if they had to run some sort of a test, be able to suggest that your child might have special needs because of the way that the child is developing. But unless they ran DNA tests on the mother and the father, there's no way that he could know that the two parents were related.
So remember, he was in the service. So if she was there and they were together, I'm thinking she may have gone to the same medical hospital, same Navy hospital, or whatever, possibly. But also, the way he said the story, she was 5 months pregnant. I don't know if she knew she wasn't pregnant. Now, again, I'm not a
but there's no way they wouldn't have just routinely ran their DNA together to determine a match without some reason. So the way that he told the story was that the doctor randomly said, you all share a lot of DNA, which is not something he would have been able to know without knowing both of their DNAs.
Possibly, yes, I agree with you on that. Absolutely. But all I'm saying is it could have been the same hospital, possibly. But again, I don't know. I'm just trying to make it. But again, if it's a story and it's made up and it's bullshit, then guess what? You just got some FaceTime on the BGKH show. But I found it absolutely like, this is, okay. I got nothing.
All right, so we got a few more.
Interesting thing about people that have
all right, just relax. When she gets over here, just tell her how you feel. Okay. What's up, Rob? Hey, Jay.
You got a fat ass.
All right, just relax. When she gets over here, just tell her how you feel.
All right, Bougie, I will accept that because, I don't know nothing about pregnancy or whatever. Bougie Girl said they probably ran genetic testing because she was an older pregnancy. Right. But so here's my next thing. If allegedly you look exactly like your mama, y'all didn't look at each other and, y'all taking your little picture at the little fair or whatever and be like, damn, we look an awful lot alike. Because, like, if you look at a picture of me next to my mother, there's no denying who my mama is.
Listen, and I was going to say, I could say the same exact thing.
Right. So, yeah, because when I met your mama, I was like, ooh, that is epic in a wig. Except, she's a very petite woman. But other than that, I was like, ooh, that is epic in a wig.
Listen, it just is what it is. But
right. So, all right, whatever. Good luck to them, or I'm not in it. So, and I certainly wouldn't be telling that story on TV like this. So, but sure, that's just me.
Hey, good evening, Ryan CX.
Their business in the public like that, but that's just me. All right.
Interesting thing about people that have physical touch is a love language. I did not realize this. They feel most loved when your penis is inside them.
Or the other way around as well.
Think so?
Oh yeah, physical touch over here. Just let me sit in there.
I didn't know. The solution is everyone who has a physical touch as a love language, have sex with all of them. If they're having a bad day, just offer.
Yes.
This is the dumbest, most it's not even misogynistic. It's just stupidly male to say that, like some woman comes up to you, my love language is physical touch. Okay, great, let me fuck you. No, girl, that is not what a touch love language means at all.
But listen.
And neither of you are cute enough because you got a receding hairline and the other one looked like he's slow. Sorry, you were going to say.
I'm not now. I'm not now. I have nothing to say.
I was just annoyed by this because I felt like, so even when you see these comments, right? So people are agreeing with this. Like one dude said, "You are so right." All of the people agreeing with this are women, saying it's facts. Or someone says, "So true. I don't even reach the point of completion. As long as my pole is inside you, then I'm good." Like that is not what a that's not what love languages are about. It's not fucking languages. But this is all heterosexual bullshit, so I don't really,
Listen.
Sorry for you all.
Lord have mercy.
From the sense of blind entitlement some people seem to have, Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
From a blind judgmental attitude over other people's appearance or dress, Christ have mercy.
Christ have mercy.
For the times our sharp political divide blinded our call to care for each other, Christ have mercy.
Christ have mercy.
It goes on like this for a while, but the way he was just clearing the whole room.
Wow. I mean, I don't see what he said so far.
No, it was just that, he was using, his homilies to gather kids.
Right. He's doing a lot, and right.
So I'm going to put this one up, but pause. So that's Reggie Jackson. And, he was, recently inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame and this whole conversation around the Negro leagues and stuff. And then, so I believe this is A-Rod. I believe that's A-Rod.
Listen, let's talk about how motherfucking Reggie Jackson was the finest motherfucking thing back in the day.
He was.
And he had his little Reggie, the little chocolate bar, the little candy bar, the Reggie bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But he went through a lot. And so let's listen to a piece of that.
How emotional is it for you to come back to a play that you played with one of the greatest teams around?
Alex, when people ask me a question like that, it's like coming back here is not easy. The racism that I played here, when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places where we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. People said to me today, I spoke, and they said, "You think you're a better person? You think you won when you played here in Concord?" I said, I would never want to do it again. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and said, "Can't eat here." I would go to a hotel and they say, "Then can't stay here." We went to Charlie Finley's country club for a welcome home dinner, and they pointed me out with the N-word. "He can't come in here." Finley marched the whole team out. Finally, they let me in there. He said, "We're going to go to the diner and eat hamburgers. We'll go where we're wanted." Fortunately, I had a manager, Johnny McNamara, that if I couldn't eat in the place, nobody would eat. We'd get food to travel. If I couldn't stay in a hotel, they'd drive to the next hotel and find a place where I could stay. Had it not been for Raleigh Fingers, Johnny McNamara, Dave Duncan, Joe and Sharon Rudy, I slept on their couch 3-4 nights a week for about a month and a half. Finally, they were threatened that they would burn our apartment complex down unless I got out. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. The year I came here, Bull Connor was the sheriff the year before. And they took minor league baseball out of here because in 1963, the Klan murdered 4 black girls, children, in 11, 12, 14 years old at a church here and never got indicted. They were from the Klan. Life magazine did a story on them like they were being honored. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. At the same time, had it not been for my white friends, had it not been for a white manager and Rudy Fingers and Duncan and Lee Myers, I would have never made it. I was too physically violent. I was ready to physically fight some. I'd have got killed here because I'd have beat someone's ass, and you'd have saw me in an oak tree somewhere.
Reggie, I can't even imagine. It's all how.
So, you know, and this was in the 60s. So those people are still alive. Some of those people are still alive. Some of those people who wouldn't let him into the country club are still alive.
And listen,
some of those people that wouldn't let him into the restaurant or whatever are still alive. And they're your doctors, they're your judges, they're your lawyers, they're the people.
They're your neighbors. They're your neighbors. And he said, so
they just learn not to say all of that shit in public. It's not that their opinions have changed.
Yeah. And it's so funny because in 1979, when my family moved to California, they lived in Concord. And I remember being in Concord when I went to visit for a summer or whatever and hanging out with them. And it was just like, it was always interesting. But my aunt and my uncle were very vigilant about, no. All three of you need to stay right here. Right here. Right here. And so as a kid, I was like, I didn't necessarily know what it was or what the wording was or how I felt, but I just knew that something just didn't feel 100% correct. Now, again, that was 1979. And I know he's talking about in the 60s, but that's not that far off.
It's not too much different.
It's not too much different. And I do remember in the neighborhood at one particular point, there was a little incident involving me and my cousins and this one little young lady up the street, and the mom having a moment. And when I realized that my aunt was truly my mother's sister, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was an interesting. I did not know. You would never know someone's story unless you ask them or unless they tell you. But I would have never have imagined all of this happened to him, because all of my memories of him was that he was on top, much like O.J. Simpson. All of my memories of him is that he was always on top of stuff. He was all, you know what I mean? Like he was. Now, granted, the adults that we are now, knowing the times that we live in and how things were and how they are changing, and yet some things are still the same. I can imagine, because we've all had some things said to us either under people's breath or directly to your face about who and what you are. So right. Yes, I would have never known, but I'm happy that he's able to talk about this. It's a little emotional for me because it's you know, when people say they like this was a different time, they're not connected. It's like, well, no, this is our parents. These are our uncles, our aunts, you know, even right. Us, you know, so it's like
people act like this was like 150, 200
years ago. That far ago.
He's still alive. Those people are still alive. That was only 55, 60 years ago. And so if you were 20 years old, you might be in your late 70s or 80s now. Yep. And do you honestly think that hatred wasn't passed on to your children and your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews and cousins in ways that are subtle and overt?
Yep.
So this last one, this will be a little bit of a laugh. we've seen enough. All I gotta say is that cat is a bully.
Listen,
and I have never heard a cat out of breath before.
Mama said, I'm getting tired of you. Like, you playing with my time. She stopped. She said, ah, bitch, what it is? Get that one from here.
Right. She tried to run away, but then she was like, no, but fuck this.
Listen.
And confronted her ass. Anywho. So, you got some stories for us, Puddin'?
I do. So I'm going to jump through these really quickly. So, listen. So, I found this online. It was from the magazine Us. Well, yeah, it was actually on Facebook, but again, it's from this particular article, the them.us story. But anyway, Carmen Carrera, who's from Drag Race, she's a model and, like I said, a RuPaul alum. She's alleging that the character on Pose that has a storyline that bears too much of a resemblance to her life. Now, in a social media post earlier this week, she claimed that after auditioning for the FX show Pose, representatives never reached out to her to let her know if she booked the role. In a post on X on Tuesday, she alleged that Janet Mock, the executive producer, completely ripped off her life story and used it for the character of Angel Evangelista, played by India Moore. Now, Carrera made the post in response to being tagged in a tweet alongside Mock that was honoring strong trans women in media. Now, Carmen went on to say that the press coverage of the show made it seem as if Angel's storyline was similar to the likes of Tracy Norman, which was the first Black trans woman to achieve a mainstream success as a fashion model. And we talked about her on the show before as well.
Mm-hmm.
Several outlets have reported that Norman's story served as an inspiration for Angel's arc in the fashion industry, especially with respect to Norman losing work after being outed as trans. However, Carrera claims that her storyline was based on her own. She says they made it seem in the media that it was the Tracy Norman story. However, so many elements, twists and turns didn't match, and the fans noticed it throughout. She said, I mean, listen, you want to rip my story off, at least pay a girl. Now, when asked for a comment, she told Entertainment Weekly that the Pose casting team had reached out to her management at the time when looking to hire trans actors for the show. And she said included in her media deck is parts of her story, including her wedding photos that were featured in People magazine from December 2015. And the magazine was given exclusive access to the photos of her wedding. And she said, this was just after the trans tipping point, and so much media was covering my story as trailblazing since no one else has seen a trans person in the position to be married on TV and having stepchildren. What? Carmen, go sit down. There are several, like, while you may have had a colorful life, I'm not saying that you have not, and you have had some struggles. Baby, that was very specific to very specific people. And I'm not saying they couldn't combine some stuff, but yeah, I don't.
Some of those stories are any one person.
Right. And many of them have been around way before you or I. So
the whole part about Candy getting killed, that's Venus Extravaganza.
Right. You can pick any
right.
name.
And so our good sis Dominique Morgan had a lovely lengthy post while she was between meetings where she got into it, and she talked about how a lot of the Latina girls, and again, I'm not part of this community. I am not trans. I'm not part of that community. But so I'm repeating or paraphrasing what Dominique said. But a lot of the Latina girls take every opportunity they can to punch down or express themselves in anti-Black ways, because this post was about game changers and trans people, and this person happened to be Black, and your story doesn't hold up. And then, as Dominique said, okay, girl, well, so if they ripped off your story, right?
What part?
Which part did they rip off? Did you used to work on the pier? Did you used to have a white boyfriend who would leave his wife in Jersey to come and fuck you in a hotel and wanted to set you up? Was it the drug addiction? Was it, because you act like you are the only trans person to have ever, quote unquote, overcome. You're the first person to be a trans model. You're not. That's Tracy Africa Norman. You act like you're the first trans person ever to get married to a man who already got children.
Girl,
you
bye.
act like you are the first person to do all of these things, and it's just disrespectful. And I didn't see it as anti-black until Dominique pointed out. And Dominique talks about a lot of things that goes on in the space that she does, where, you know, in that philanthropy space, and how these Latina girls will go and they'll shit on, you know, something if it's for, you know, black trans women, and they'll somehow steal that idea, or the funding will dry up and other things, but then the same idea will happen for the Latina trans girls. So this whole thing about they stole your story, and then this whole part about her being on Pose, girl, they offered her a part of a bartender, and so she was mad because people like Jiggly and other people got on the show. And
But
so she was like, well, if they cast Jiggly, and I can't even remember who else, Jiggly is the only one that stands out to me, but there was several other RuPaul girls who had gotten on the show, then why couldn't I be on the show?
Well, you know why? Because they were fucking connected to the ballroom. You are not, Carmen.
Exactly. Those were connected to the ballroom. And two, you said you don't even fuck with RuPaul like that. You don't really want to be associated with RuPaul or Drag Race or anything. So if they were reaching out to a network of girls who were in ballroom and also had at least enough acting experience in front of the camera from Drag Race or whatever to be not totally uncoachable on camera, you said you don't want to be involved in none of that. So why the fuck would they call you?
And here's the thing. India is she's a great fucking actress. What are you talking about? So even if you did get offered if you got offered the part, I'm not saying you can't act, but would you have been a better Angel than India? I don't necessarily know.
And yeah, that was like, Angel's storyline was based on her. Well, girl, we all saw parts of ourselves in all of these characters, and all of us could be like, oh, well, Damon's story was based on my life. You know, they owe me a check. Or, you know, my life, my life was based on Pray Tell's life.
Yeah,
like, girl, bye. Please sit all the way down.
I listen, you know, it's whatever.
Like, I feel like she was right that one time about RuPaul and She-Mail and all of that stuff, but you know, like you say, any clock is right twice a day. So
yeah, okay, we'll go with
anyway.
that.
So keep it moving.
So listen, you've seen his face all over the news lately, and it's been on the Tickety Talks and the Instagrams or whatever. But listen, Justin Timberlake was arrested on DWI charges in the Hamptons. Now, he claimed he just had one martini before he was pulled over. He failed the sobriety test and was arrested on suspicion of being intoxicated while driving. So he's 43. He's a Franklin, Tennessee resident. And in this complaint, he was arraigned and released without having to post bail about 9 hours after he was arrested. He pleaded not guilty, was ordered to appear in court July 26. He has an attorney who said in a statement that he looks forward to vigorously defending Mr. Timberlake of these allegations, and he will have a lot to say at the appropriate time, but he's currently waiting for full discovery from the district attorney's office. Now, here's what happened. Timberlake was behind the wheel of his gray Florida registered BMW when he was stopped a little after 12:15 a.m. And he was stopped near Madison Street and Middle Line Highway initially for driving through a stop sign and failing to stay on the right side of the road. Now, let's be clear. You've gone through this stop sign and you can't stay on the right side of the road. So let's just start about let's use that. Let's start with there. Now, once the police officer spoke to Timberlake, they said it was clear he was not in shape to drive, according to the complaint. It was ascertained that the defendant was operating said vehicle in an intoxicated condition, in that his eyes were bloodshot and glassy, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage was emanating from his breath. He was unable to divide attention. He had slowed speech. He was unsteady of foot, and he performed poorly on all standardized sobriety tests. Let me be clear. Justin Timberlake is a dancer. Most people that you know are dancers have balanced out this fucking world, whether they're drunk or not. I'm not saying they can't fall. Let me be clear. But there's something about your spatial awareness, especially you start about spotting and all. Baby, he could not. He struggled to walk heel toe and stand on one foot without swaying or using arms to balance.
Bitch, I've had one martini, and one martini don't do all of that. Now,
Listen,
you know, I would, you know, my
but
thing.
Hold on. Here's his last part. He also declined to be tested for impairment.
Right.
And he told them specifically, no, I'm not doing a chemical test. Now, one of the news legal analysts for NBC said a refusal can be introduced at trial to establish conscious evidence of guilt. It is the predicate for a revocation of driving privileges. So listen, at this point, he's fighting the image of being drunk versus the image of not taking a chemical test or saying that he used some other illegal drug, because the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and everything else were saying he got caught with he had prep drugs, medication in his system.
All of that came.
All these other things that, you know.
Yeah, but all of that came from a satire website.
Right. They were, like I said, they were probably added on to what was going on. But this right here is the fact that he was pulled over for intoxication and did not want to be chemically tested. Right. So that those chemical tests will test for alcohol. They will test for certain narcotics. So like
that's why his ass didn't want to get tested, because it was probably fucked up. But he may have only had 2 or 3 drinks, but he probably had a lot of other shit in his system, which is why he didn't want to be tested. Because, you know, 1 or 2 drinks, but cocaine or something else, and this is all allegedly because I don't know anything about this. I will also say that,
and again, this is from an NBC News article that they're
right. But I'll also say that the police are not always to be trusted.
I totally agree.
Given that there was no, we only have their word that he failed a field sobriety test, right? There is no
video.
There's no video. There is nothing other than the police's word that he was intoxicated and a strong odor. And I think if he was black, people might be like, are they trying to set this brother up? It seems unlikely that the police will try to set Justin Timberlake up, but you know, just never know. So I'm not going to say, well, just because the police said he was intoxicated, that he automatically was. Because in Tennessee, Breonna Taylor was killed, and they tried to make it sound like it was Breonna Taylor's fault for being asleep in her own motherfucking apartment. So just because the police say something don't mean it's actually true.
Listen, I'm
so next, on to the next celebrity.
Listen, here's some good motherfucking news and congratulations. The motherfucking queen, the queen, Miss motherfucking Trina, the icon.
Louisville, Kentucky, Tennessee, baby, all them states look alike to me, so sure.
Listen, this rap icon, Miss motherfucking Trina, married her fiance, Benjamin Leon Curse, last month, according to court records obtained by the InfoSpot and other sources. Now, per the records, the couple filed their marriage application April 5th and tied the knot on May 22nd in Miramar, thank you, Florida. Now, Trina, who was formally engaged in 2021, has not spoken publicly on her latest life event, but apparently attended the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards with her beau by her side on June 21st. Now, Instagram had pics of the marriage filing license showing May 22nd as the actual date, as I mentioned earlier. But in September 2021, it was announced that the Be Alright rapstress was engaged to her then boyfriend, former college athlete and Miami rapper Raymond Ray Almighty Taylor. Now, when speaking of future plans like starting a family on the Carisha Please show afterwards, Trina admitted that having 3 miscarriages and the passing of her mother made it hard for her to even fathom having a child. Mm-hmm. As for her marriage to Kearse Jr., little was known about their relationship and how it started. And she really didn't talk about what happened with Ray and why it actually, Ray Almighty, when they actually broke up. So again, like Dimension mentioned earlier, life has been lifing for several people, and Trina is one of them, because she is the people, and she has a life, so it's been life.
Well, and I appreciate that she didn't tell everybody, because
absolutely
people, you know why? Because people are shisty as fuck, right? People don't want you until you with somebody, and I'm not saying that only women do this, so I'm not saying this, but people do this. But in this case, it's a woman married to a man. There's a breed of woman who looked at Benjamin Leon Kearse Jr. and thought nothing of him. But now that he's married to Trina, they will throw their pussy at him at every fucking opportunity. I mean, I've seen it. I know you've seen it. You've been with a dude, and then dudes all of a sudden will be pushing up on your man because he's in a relationship now. Some people are just funky like that. So that's why it's really none of our, I know we're reporting on this because we got a show to do, but I respect that she didn't tell anybody this, because people just get real funky about that. And if they didn't like Trina or something that she said, or didn't like her style, they might, do crazy shit. Now, again, ultimately that rests on her husband, not to be fucking random bitches, but still.
Listen, Miss Katrina Laverne, baby, I'm here for it. Baby, congratulations. Listen, I'm wishing you all the best. Now, I don't even know this woman, but all I do know is, baby, when I say a life lived that I've heard of, Miss Trina is living her life. So, girl,
all I got to say is, give me a countdown.
5, 6, 7, 8.
You don't know now, hoe. Done been the places I've been, done spend the grants that I spend, fuck about 5 or 6 best friends, and you don't know now, hoe.
Listen, congratulations, Trina. Listen, if you want to come talk about it, girl, come on our show.
Please.
Please. So I always throw in here a couple news of the weird, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out here. So listen, from the Express, calling Agent 99, Samsung has channeled the 1960s TV series Get Smart with his newest tech releases, the Shortcut sneaker, with which one can make phone calls. Gizmodo reported that the phone is operated with discrete foot movements recognized by motion sensors in the sole. Now, sadly, you're not going to get it's more not likely that you're going to get your dogs into one of these shoes or phones anytime soon. The company is making just 6 pair, available only to Samsung members in the Netherlands who enter to win by July. So that's out, but it's a shoe phone is coming. The next one was, as part of the Italian Market Festival in Philadelphia, one contest involves competitors climbing a grease pole to claim bags of meat and cheese tied at the top. Now, the United Press International reported this. Now, this year, the dangling delectables were left hanging, and nearly a month later, they're still there. Festival organizers are trying to arrange for a crane to gather leftovers, which visitors can claim, which visitors claim aren't stinky yet, with the oncoming heat dome across the United States that might change. Baby, listen, that meat is rot. It's probably living again. That's what it's doing. It's living again. It's been charged up.
Got all kinds of maggots and shit on it.
Listen, so last story. Here's a term you might not know. A cryptic pregnancy occurs when a woman is pregnant but doesn't realize it until labor begins. So it went with Tavia Woodfork, 26, of Mississippi, who experienced stomach pains while dining at a Golden Corral restaurant in North Little Rock, Arkansas on May 6th. Fox News reported that Woodfork went to the restroom where she delivered 6-pound Tamar Kylon Coral Woodfork, a boy. Yes, that third name is a tribute to the restaurant Golden Corral. And they shared the news of the birth on their Facebook page and even gifted the new mom a $200 gift card, among other items.
All righty then. Because I remember when I first started hearing stories about this, I was like, so you ain't noticed nothing was weird when your period stopped?
Some women still have their period.
Yeah, and that's what some people told me. Mm-hmm. Some women continue to have their periods, or their periods are already very irregular.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't have a period for months at a time was nothing unusual. So yeah, I'm just like, ooh.
That's a lot. You going in to get a takeout meal and wind up with a baby.
Because that means you've done no prep. First of all, you've had no prenatal care, for one.
At all.
And 2, you've done no prep. So your house ain't set up for Nathan.
Listen,
Josh, you can either go to. Actually, I was gonna say I might go with you to go. I might tip through with you to Golden Corral.
Listen, I don't.
Though.
Why are you hating on the Golden Corral? I mean, I'm just saying you Golden Corral. If we're not saying this, it's no top tier nothing. It ain't that, but it does what it's supposed to do. That's all.
It's not a top tier. It's a tier for sure.
I'm just saying we're not going to say we put it in there the same category as somebody's steakhouse or something. Or no, it's a spot. It's like a step above a diner if you're going to say that.
All right, so let's get into we missed last week. This was last week, so we don't have one more, but we did 3, so that is fine. So this month we're going to talk about gospel music. It's Black Music Month. Every June is Black Music Month. And so this week we're going to talk about our favorite gospel songs and artists.
Yeah.
You ready?
Let's get crack-a-lacking.
So first up is Aretha Franklin, who is a gospel artist, and I'm gonna tell you why. Amazing Grace, which is the album you see, that's a picture from the cover art, was her 3rd live album. It was released in June 2027. It featured Reverend James Cleveland and the Southern California Community Choir. It won the 1973 Best Soul Gospel Performance, and to this day, it is the best-selling gospel album ever. So even if you don't think of Aretha Franklin as a gospel artist, she is the best-selling gospel artist ever amongst all of her other accolades. And I know this because I have the album, the double album, and it's a live recording. And so there is a movie called Amazing Grace, which is the filming of this over the 2 days. Originally, because they filmed it originally, and then they decided they didn't do anything with it for like 30-some years, and then they finally released it like in 2017 or 2018 after Aretha's death.
18, 19, somewhere in there, yeah.
And when you watch the movie, you can be like, oh, okay, I know, because here come my part. Or you can see how what is in the album is sometimes a mixture of the same song from 2 different days. And the best part of it was when
what's her name walked in?
Not Albertina Walker. Shit. I can picture the face.
I see her wrapped up when she tried to wrap up in her little.
Let's say it's not Albertina Walker, but let's say it was, right? Whatever this woman's name was, and she was a very famous gospel artist, but I cannot think of her name. They were calling all of the gospel stars, right? Because this was like a big thing. Like the Rolling Stones were in the audience for this production. I think a couple of the Beatles were, as well as lots of Black artists, but it was a gospel event in a Black church. So they called all of these gospel artists. And no, it wasn't Shirley Caesar. They called this woman up. I'm going to say it was Albertina Walker. It absolutely was not, but I just can't remember the woman's name. So she came up, and the look on her face was like, hello, hi, how's it going? And everyone was like,
right. They're like, girl, this is not about you. Go sit down.
Because she really did sort of walk in like everyone was supposed to be like, oh my God, it's Albertina Walker, or whoever it was. And everybody was just like. And then when Aretha Franklin came in, the place fucking exploded.
Listen.
And so my 3 favorite songs from the album, Amazing Grace. Baby, she does a 37-minute and 62-second version of Amazing Grace, and every moment of it is sheer perfection. It's for me, it's transformational every time I listen to it, just because she know how to hit that note and just drag that note out in like the most beautiful kind of way.
No, Mike, it's not Shirley Caesar. She was a gospel artist at that particular point in time, and she was up and coming, and her and Riri had they didn't really have.
It might have been something like that, and I feel like She was also there. She was there on the arm of Reverend C.J. Franklin. So I think that was part of it. Because remember, he, you know, he was a womanizer too. But he was,
of course,
he was there with her, this other woman who was another famous gospel artist in her own right. And then Mary, Don't You Weep. We've heard that a million times, but in my opinion, Aretha does like the seminal version of this. And then Old Landmark, because you know I love a whole little fast clap. So you know those are my three favorite songs from that. Are there others that you like on this album?
Honestly, I know the album. I can't even sit back and tell you that I know all of the songs off of. I mean, I know a Married Amazing Grace and Old Landmark just by the name. I can't remember it, but no, I remember the album. My grandmother it was one of those songs that she.
Now let us all go back to your old landmark. Let us all go back. Old landmark, baby. It's one of those old call and response. You know, that reminded me of, you know, the music that I love most is usually evocative of some memory, and so Old Landmark reminds me of Sundays at Antioch Baptist Church with my grandmother and grandfather. Antioch Baptist Church, which used to be right down the street from where I live now. And my grandmother and grandfather were deacon and deaconess in the church. And baby, I hated it at the time. So much of what you remember, your memories of things that you hated, you know, as a child. Now, I'm never going to be a fan of the 4-hour church service. Let's just be clear. Never going to be a fan of the 4-hour church service. But, you know, a good tight 2 hours I can deal with. So then my second artist is Daryl Coley. So Daryl Coley was influenced by gospel music, classical, and jazz. He worked with Edwin Hawkins, James Cleveland, and Sylvester. We'll put an asterisk by that because we're going to come back to that in a minute. So he's a gospel nominee for his debut album, Just Daryl. And he has 2 top 5 albums on the gospel charts. So one of the things seemed like one of the girls to me. He always seemed like one of the girls. Not like a girl, but he seemed like one of the girls. And he's one of those girls like Donnie McClurkin talk about how he overcame his demons in the 70s. And so I'm like, okay, girl, sure. And I just need people to understand that choosing not to have sex with another man is that's different. That don't mean you're not a homosexual. You just aren't acting on certain things. But that's a whole other thing. So we're not here to talk about that. That was just an interesting asterisk to me because whenever you pull up something about it, it was like an important thing that they talked about his struggles.
Clara.
Yes.
Thank you, Bougie.
Yes, Clara. I gotta look it up now.
Clara Ward, was that her? Was it
Clara Ward? Clara Ward. Yes. And she had this big, you know, early 70s bouffant, like asymmetrical, and she was giving, and she looked fierce. She did look fierce, but she walked in there like everybody was supposed to just like get up and like bow for her, and everybody just gave her dust.
Listen. No. If you
no. Come on, you got something to say. Come on and say.
You sit here and refrain from no commenting. You on the damn BGKH show. You better open up your mouth and say something. Let the Lord
let him move you. Let him use you.
Let him
use you. Anyway, so my favorite Daryl Coley songs, and these are all songs, you know, I have talked about. I went through some really rough times emotionally in college. And at the time, not religion, because see how the kids could listen, see how the kids could say so much with so little.
And see, this is what we pass down generational knowledge. Baby, I'm telling you, you better get you some, listen, I'm telling people in general, you better get you some people that have lived some life and know some things and can share some information that may not be on the interwebs or the internet somewhere, but baby, it's in somebody's memory bank.
Exactly. So the songs that I like by Daryl Coley are all, look at this. It's all about uplifting or figuring out how to get through. Jesus never fails. He's preparing me. And even though I don't frankly believe in any of that now, I will still listen to these songs when I need to feel uplifted. Because even if I don't believe in the concept of God or whatever, I believe in this song, He's Preparing Me, which really says He's preparing me for something that I can't handle right now. And whether that He is God or Jesus or Buddha or the universe is preparing me for something that I can't handle right now. So those are my two artists.
Listen.
Coyote said it's when C.L. Franklin wiped the sweat from her brow in the documentary. Yes. That documentary was a kiki because there were so many homosexuals, including James Cleveland, in that choir loft and in that audience, baby. And, it's so funny. Like, all of the girls be like, oh, I was closeted. I was like, from who? So, but anyway. All right. So next up.
So listen, gospel music is one of those areas for me where I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of gospel music, but my memories of gospel music have to do with people around me, my grandparents or, other relatives. And they would sing songs. Like the first gospel song I remember is this one song. I don't even know who it's by, but it was Fire Shut Up in My Bones. Like Jeremiah, I won't leave you. And my grandfather's name was Jeremiah, but we pronounced it Jeremiah. That's what we called him. And so that's one of the first songs I remember. But then also there's several other songs that I remember just in general, just hearing over, church and between my grandmother, my mom, and other family members. But it was never one of those areas that I focused on because of like the religion aspect of it. I focused on it, or I liked the songs because something about the song moved me. And it was not about the religion aspect of it. But not to discount that, which is a good thing, but part of the reason why I even like some of these people is because they're more urban and less church. But my first person I want to talk about is Yolanda Adams. Yolanda Adams is, first of all, she is a talented woman that has an amazing voice. Her vocals, if she ever stepped over into secular music, baby, just clear it out because she get ready to walk away with every goddamn award. But has sold 10 million albums worldwide. She's won Stellar, Dove, BET, BMI, Soul Train Awards. She was also the first to win the Best Gospel Song Grammy. She was the first gospel artist awarded an American Music Award. She's been known as the Queen of Contemporary Gospel or the reigning Queen of Urban Gospel. And she's also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And she was in
honorary or pledge.
So it says she is a member, but the way it's worded to me says that she is an honorary member. But I can check that out. But I really got confused.
It was just a minor factoid to me.
Oh no, it's a big factor when you're a part of these organizations, and bitch, you came in as honorary or not.
Here comes our expert, aka says honorary. Okay,
and again, we listen. Bougie, we know the writing on the wall, the way they word these things. So I kind of already figured that she was, But anyway, I like Miss Yolanda. Some of my favorite songs by her are "Open Up My Heart" or "Open My Heart." This battle is the Lord's. Baby, when I tell you she is preaching to somebody's soul and ministering to everything about you, baby, listen. Let Us Worship Him is another one. I Believe I Can Fly. I have several connections with this song. It was originally an R. Kelly song, but when she sang it along with Gerald Levert, and it was an amazing song. I absolutely love it. It's one of those songs that I've performed with Spiller Boy and I performed, or actually Milan and I have performed this song together, and it's one of my favorites, and I love it. And in Victory, I've got the victory. Like these are the songs that just I've connected with in some way, shape, or form. And I think they're amazing songs, and they're from an amazing artist. So if you don't know Yolanda Adams, you've never heard any of her music, which I'm sure you probably has, because not only has she done albums, and she's done movies and television shows, and she's on the soundtrack for the Preacher's Wife, I think it is, and she's all over the place, but she's amazing. And I encourage you to take some time or spend some time getting to know Yolanda Adams. Now, my next artist is Smokey Norfolk. Now, first, I was typing a little fast, and so his actual name is spelled, or his nickname rather, is spelled S-M-O-K-I-E. But I wrote it as S-M-O-K-E-Y. But again, his name is Willie Ray Smokey Norfolk Jr. That is his full name. He is a two-time Grammy Contemporary Soul Gospel. He has 2 Grammy Contemporary Soul Gospel albums. He has 5 #1 Billboard albums. He has 4 million albums sold worldwide. He has 5 Dove Awards. He also has Soul Train Music, NAACP, and BET awards. He is absolutely a phenomenal preacher as well as artist. And when I first heard of him, it was the song I Need You Now. And there is the album version, and then there's the live version. The album version is amazing, but when I tell you he preached on that live baby, listen, almost brought me, like Yolanda, almost had me at moments of getting all emotional, almost little tears, whatever. But baby, this live version is amazing. I Will Bless the Lord, Jesus is Love with Heather Headley. These are 3 of my favorite songs, and he does so well with them, or these are such great songs. But if you don't know Smokey, please take the time to get to know him, because he's, even in his songs, he's bringing up a lot of memories, and he's preaching, and he's laughing and joking with you, especially in the live versions. And great artist, great sound. I invite you to do some more research with him and listen to some of his music, because he's a great artist.
Excellent. All righty then. So you know what time it is now.
The hootie, 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 the hootie.
All righty. Give me 1 second.
Come on, the hootie. John P. get you too? Okay, come on.
This cover image you chose is everything. I mean, look who it is. So,
Well, I mean, this is what we doing. Let's see. Where we at?
All right.
Right, Bougie Girl. She's saying you bring me joy to Anita was better than Anita. Baby, I done told you if Miss Yo. And do you remember when she did Shaka Khan? When she hit that first note, I will love you anyway. I said, geez.
John P. Key does it for me too. Only a prayer away always gets me together.
Yeah, Bougie, it was amazing. But anyway, so this is our style evolution. Listen, this is my girl. Her name is the Janet Demita Jo Jackson. This was a good trip for me down memory lane, and it's so funny because there are thousands of pictures of her, and I was trying to weed through all the stuff that have over the years have always popped up for me, or I love these pictures, or something about these pictures I just thought were amazing. This is one of my favorites because, again, I thought first of all, we don't get to see her dressed up. I'm sorry, in her earlier days before where she is now. We didn't get to see her really dressed up all the time and dressed in heels and skirts. She was a tomboy, and she says that all the time, and she still has very tomboy tendencies. But listen, Miss Mama looks good in this green little fit right here, which I believe is a Prada dress, as a matter of fact. But again, one of my favorite pictures by her, and her hair looks great, her attitude, body, like she looks good. So it is one of my favorite pictures. But I decided to do this style evolution for her, and I tried to organize it in a way that other people might know it, because if you're a fan, then obviously you know what she was wearing and when and what time, and I can kind of go through that. So I tried to organize it by her albums so that you guys would at least have that first. You can see how it is. So let's get into this and get on over to the first slide. So the upper right hand corner, this is the album. This is Janet Jackson. This is this album. This is a Janet Jackson album. This was her first actual album, and this was 1982, and so this was Janet Jackson circa 1982. So you see all these very posed pictures. There's that one picture up at the top where she was from Fame and she was playing Chloe. Then I think the red sweater looks more like Different Strokes. And, you know, she was just like trying to be the cute girl and that's it. So it was like, all right, she wasn't really, she was still a little girl.
Very much little girl playing dress up.
Yeah, she was very little girl here. So that's where we at. Yeah, she didn't really have a style, but then we're going to go with that. This was Dream Street, which was 1984. And so this is one of those iconic pictures that people see all the time when they talk about her albums with the little scooter and the gloves, whatever. These are some badass gloves. Let me be clear. I thought they were just I always thought they were bad. But again, she's still continuing that very clean cut, you know, I'm a girl, but then I'm not. I'm still a teenager, but I'm not. She's standing next to LaToya and Michael, and she looks like a complete idiot and like a kid, like just like put the kids together and let everybody, we're gonna take a picture, and it's always that one kid that does something stupid. That's what she's doing in this picture. Like she's that little kid, that little sister. But again, she's still trying to figure it out. This is also around the time when she had she was meeting or hanging out with the DeBarges and all this good stuff. So then the James situation was coming along. So like, you know, it's coming. It's coming. And it's coming faster than we actually recognize. Because from the time that, like around this time when the album came out, they were in it, but then the end was coming. They were about to lose it and end it and all that good stuff. And so, yeah. But this was the last of her little innocence. And then the next slide, this is 1986. This is Control. Listen, every picture was everything she had on was going to be black. She was going to have some big hair. Them shoulder pads was up. She was covered up. And, you know, she was like, I'm a young lady, but this is what I'm doing here. I'm being a little free. So any picture you saw of her, this is where we are. So she was, like I said, covered up, but she was giving a little sassiness. And so this iconic album cover and the hair, you know, this was one of those things where they kind of dressed her up intentionally to make her look older than she was at the time. So, yeah, it just, listen, it worked. And it was one of her biggest albums. And it was for her to burst out on the scene.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we want to go over to, this is Rhythm Nation now. And Rhythm Nation came out in 89. Yeah, 89. And so she's still in all the black. She has grown up a little bit, but she's also becoming more body conscious. So she's wearing more fitted clothes. She's wearing more, she's starting to reveal a little bit. She's making sure this face is beat. She's starting this hair evolution because from day one, she was very picky with her hair. So this is what we're going to do. So listen, there were some things that she did with her hair that were like revolutionary with the hair industry, weaved up wigs, and actually at this particular point, she was really wearing a lot of weaves. I'm sure it was some pieces, whatever. But again, she looked amazing, and it just is what it is for me. So like I said, she was all covered up. But then on this same album, Black Cat, she had a couple of little slow songs, and Black Cat was one of them where she kind of, the first time she ever ripped her shirt open, you saw like her midsection. She had her bra on, and it's like, okay. But it was so unexpected as a fan. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? But again, you know, this is where we are. Then we go into the Janet album. This was 1993. When Miss Janet Jackson first of all, Rhythm Nation was absolutely amazing. It was so upbeat, all these albums, these dance songs, everything was so motherfucking fast. It was jumping. It's like, oh my God. This album in the summer when that damn song was released, That's the Way Love Goes. When I tell you Miss Janet Jackson walked in, when I say she was soft and dewy and buttery, and Kevin Aucoin was still doing her makeup, when she was absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous. There's a part in the If video where, and I always say this, she has this look where as she's dancing in the chorus, she spins around, her hair flies back in her face, and it's that look that says she just got fucked. And I've always thought it was a beautiful picture of her because it's like, she's like, ah, and it's that I just got fucked up. It's amazing. Right. She had the amazing album cover, the Janet album, where at the time her husband Renee Elizondo was holding her breast, and that's how she did that morning. She didn't know what she was going to do, and she said she figured it out when she got to the shoot that she was just going to have him stand behind him and hold her breast. She said she didn't know what she was going to do. So, and that's how we got this iconic cover. She was playing a little bit more makeup on her own and doing some other stuff, but again, her style was very 90s, long coats, short tops, you know, it was getting ready to get into some baggier pants and stuff. And, you know, but again, just in a sexy way for the 90s. Next, we went into Velvet Rope, which was one of my favorite albums by her and probably one of the biggest albums for her ever. And it's just an amazing album. It was so many things that she talked about as far as the topics or whatever, but she went through so many different hair evolutions. The cover up in the front, you know, for Velvet Rope with this messy, tousled, curly hair. She's on the cover of all these magazines. She's giving all this wild BDSM type of appeal with the patent leather and the ice pick on her booty, which is another one of my favorite pictures. And even this leopard skin with her tongue out, like everything was screaming wild. But then she's had the wild ponytails, and she was making the hood look glamorous with the whole "you want this" with the braids and the white skirt and the khaki pants on. That was very California. I don't want to say chola, but I guess I could say chola, like that look. And I hope that's not a negative term, but looking like a Latino girl that was getting ready to fight. It's part of a gang. I'll say that. But this album, this vibe cover, if you notice right on her panty line as she's showing it, she has a tattoo, and it's a tattoo of Mickey and Minnie, and Minnie is going down on Mickey right there. So it's
oh wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's that tattoo there, and then she also has the Sankofa symbol on her wrist or whatever. But yes, if you zoom into that hairline, you can see the tattoo of like Minnie going down on Mickey. But again, this is where we are.
Miss Jackson.
Yeah, this is where we are in 1997 or whatever. So listen, it got even better or worse, depending on how you look at it. Because when All For You came out in 97, she was damn near butt naked. The album cover, even though I found this in black here where she's laying down, it was in all white and she was just body out, but she was covered up with this pillow. So she's basically naked. She started again doing more urban stuff, like the little streetwear with the mesh and the bikini tops and stuff. Her midsection was out because her midsection looked amazing. Like, I don't give a fuck what you say. That midsection always looked amazing during this time. It was always tight. It was always taut. And when she, you know, when it's right, she puts it out. And so there it is. And she was on stage exploring sexuality. All of this whole All For You was a whole mood as far as I was concerned. Now, but wait a minute. I am going to say this. I love me some Janet Jackson. God, Lord knows I do. But baby, I swear, one of the worst things I've ever seen, and I hate it because it exists. I don't like that half on, half off jacket. I've never liked it. I've never liked it. I'm so sorry. I don't know how many points I've burned.
What are we talking about?
Go back to the last that All For You, that black jacket, and All For You, that half on, half off jacket. I hate it. Right there. I hate it. I like the look together, but I hate the jacket. It just annoys me. We'll go on to the next one. So Demita Jo. Demita Jo was 2004, and this was after the Super Bowl incident. So this cover, it was covering up a little bit. She was trying to figure out what she want to do. This picture in the middle, by the way, where she looks like the strips across her, that's toilet paper across her breast, and she literally had someone tile that's toilet paper, literally. And it's one of my favorite pictures by her. That whole cover for All Night Don't Stop, and these toilet paper tissue, like, I love that. She's done several other covers for fitness and just being a sexy mama. She was with JD at the time, and so she had her little navel pierced and everything was out. So she's again still exploring her fashion, but again, you can see her fashion consists of having her stomach out. And even in Love You for a Little While, with the picture at the top with the red, it covered her boobs, but it was a long skirt, but her stomach is out. So listen, she's all about, I'm gonna show this stomach. Now we already know Janet got she got a booty, and Mike called her dunk, and it is what it is, but she's never really showed it. She always tried to keep it covered up. So she does her best to kind of show the parts that she feels comfortable with, at least in my opinion. And I can see that it's always been her stomach and the
Matt says I dug it, but I felt like she would still be cold.
So yeah, that was like I said, that was 2004. That was the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. And like I said, there's a picture from the Super Bowl as well. Now the next album, this was the 20YO album. This was 2006. And so she basically took the formula that she used to make all of her albums, like one little house song, one song that sounds more like a slow song, and she kind of thought about all of her albums and kind of made a song in each one of those veins for that album. But here you can see she was doing more dressier stuff, more girly stuff, but she was also making sure you know that she had the goods to be a sex symbol. So she did her little Maxim covers she had her little Pleasure Principle lingerie line. She had the book out. She was talking about a whole lot of different things. She had also finished. She was in talks to do the movie for Precious, and so she was supposed to gain all the weight. And in the role, I think that was Mariah Carey had, and so she wound up losing all that weight afterwards. And this is again why she was with JD. And so this is where she is. She got back down to where she wanted to be. And so again, this is starting off the 2006 and what she's looking like. Very dressed, more polished, more adult, if you will. So kudos to her. We got into 2008, and this was Disciplined. 2008, yes, I was at 8. I was working at another institution. So I was here for this album. I was here for all of it. Feedback, listen, that picture from Feedback, I was like, she looks amazing. The cover pictures, the tour pictures, the album cover, when she came out in this catsuit and this ponytail with this Obi on, when she was at the NAACP Awards and she turned to the side and all this ass just fell. Like, I'm here for my girl Janet, but she takes pictures very well, and she knows what the fuck she knows her angles. Listen, I was here for all of it. Like, again, her dressing she's on stage, so she's doing a lot of touring, but her dressing off stage is trying to pick up a little bit. But she's still real, covered up. And she does a little bit of I don't want to say androgynous thing, but you can see the vibe cover where she's in a tuxedo. She's still giving sexy, but giving like a masculine version of her sexy, but still being a very feminine, beautiful energy. So again, this was great. She's trying a lot of different stylists and also designers, and so it worked for her. So she's just going for a look.
Mm-hmm.
This is Unbreakable. Part of this was she had not released an album in, like I said, since 2008, I think it was. That was Discipline. And then when she released this in 2015, she had also found out that she was pregnant during this album push, this tour push, and all this other stuff. And so she was also still married to Wissam Almana. And so her touring looks and everything she had on was very covered up. And you can see she was doing very hobo chic, but baby, she does it in such a way that it's like, this is a casual everyday thing. She got rings on just about every single finger in these pictures. But baby, we know people that dress exactly like this and is walking down the street and eating it up. And so This is what she's doing. But she still has this attitude. And, she's able to, become this other person on stage or become, the Janet Jackson, because this picture in the white for me, it says to me, A, you are pregnant, but baby, you are still serving this, because that face has started filling out a little bit more. That was around the time we found out she was pregnant and she did the Damn Baby video and all that stuff. So listen, but again, still covered up, some backlash from still from the Super Bowl incident, and she's still trying to live down or whatever. But listen, more so for her, it was the religion aspect. She was getting ready to be a mom and all this other stuff. So she made some choices. And this is where we are. But I like where she is at this particular point. This right here is just a collection of some other photos. Like I said, there's so many pictures of her. But these are just some of my favorites. That picture in the upper left-hand corner was actually the cover from Black Diamond, the tour that she wound up canceling. And the album never was released. The black and white photo there under Style Evolution is from the Black Glamour campaign, where she was wearing the furs, and they have specific iconic black actors or entertainers that were in these roles, so like Diana Ross and Lena Horne, like there was this whole campaign. So even the picture in the middle where she has her midsection out, that was a part of the Black Glamour campaign as well. Again, the green dress, one of my favorites. The white from the All For You tour, that whole white look. The fact that she was in this almost smock going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with this big hair. The Essence Awards at the top with the coat on. Upper right was where she was channeling it, her best Dorothy Dandridge, or she was in that little area that 24 play, because she has some other pictures where she has the curl hair and the flower. But again, these are some of the other pictures of her that show her style is kind of all over the place. Tom Ford, it looks like the coat that she has on, that's what I think this is Tom Ford in the center. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it. For the current concert, she's doing amazing things. This coat is just voluminous, and I would wear it any goddamn where.
Well, all right. That was fun.
Yes. And thank you, Aztec Daddy. I appreciate that. I didn't know who I was going to be offending. I was hoping I wasn't feeling offending nobody. But thank you. Yeah.
All right, let's get into some beautiful bean footage.
Indeed.
Yes.
Listen, people, it is 10:12. I didn't realize we were going that long.
Yes, girl. I felt like I was you know how you ever someone has a slideshow and you're like, okay, girl, I would love to see your slides. And then like halfway through, you're like, bitch. I do want to see these slides, but we just need to speed this along a little bit. No, but I support that you are so into this, and I'm always just giving you shit, but I 100% do love how much you love Janet and support her and are into it. I mean, I appreciate you taking this on, and not just for Janet, but for all of the artists. This was something new that we brought to Cycle 11. And when we come back in August for Cycle 12, maybe we'll have some new and fun, exciting things. Josh said, OMG, is there going to be a crazy message portion of the show? We won't have a crazy message. What he's talking about is, I had shared with him, and I think with the Facebook fans, some of the crazy messages that I had received on Grindr. Like this dude said he wanted to watch me pick my nose.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can do that because I think we all get some crazy messages.
Yes, so we'll have some innovations. We try to step our pussy up every cycle. So Cycle 12 will be on hiatus for the month of July, and Cycle 12 will be back on August the 7th. Same bat time, same bat channel, 8 p.m. on the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitters, and all of the other places, and maybe even Instagram.
Right. Is it raining? Oh my God, it's raining.
I got a notification about rain, and I am starving. I've been up and down the East Coast. I've been to Wilmington and then New York, and I didn't mention. So I on the way back, they were like, they had roomettes available for free. Well, it was a business thing. So I got a roommate. I had a whole little room to myself. It was very fancy. I had so it's fancy, but it was kind of like, ooh, because this little roomette has an upper bunk and two seats that face one another that can fold out or to a lower bunk, and there is a sink and toilet in the room. So imagine you are in like a small office cubicle, like 6x8 office cubicle, and then you're sharing it with another person, and there's also a toilet in the room. So wow.
With no door, it's not behind anything. It's
it is just right there. So I'm sitting here, Epic sitting across from me, and next to Epic is a toilet. And so I'm like, okay, girl, so I'm gonna need you to look that way while I go take this spectacular shit in this toilet. Yeah, now, there are, because this is only on like long haul trains, and I just happened to grab that one. But so there's also like other toilets and showers and stuff in the room. But can you just imagine 2 people in the room? Like,
baby, that's a lot.
Yeah, so thank you all for joining us. I mean, it always just floors me that, you all, so many of you all choose to spend your Wednesday evenings with us, laughing and kikiing and haha and joking and sharing the laughter and the tears. And I am always humbled that you choose to spend this time with us. And we look forward to seeing you again in August.
Every week. I appreciate it. And listen, as much fun as you guys are having, it equates to as much work as we put into it. And there are some times where we just be like, baby, I just can't do it. And we just, so we appreciate y'all being flexible, because, a bitch just gets tired. The bitch just gets in a mood like, bitch, I ain't doing it. That's what we do.
Right.
I ain't doing it. So but there have been so many other times that we've started the show and it was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And then while I'm in the middle of the show, I'm so glad I did, because you guys recharge us. So thank you so much for that. We feel the love, definitely, and I definitely appreciate it. I don't want to drag this on for much longer, because I also have a headache at this particular point.
As do I, because all I had on this train was a little crudité and a couple of slices of cheese and some hummus.
Yeah, so. And I did scarf down something real quick. The thing I really want to get is this chili out here. I'm great fuck up. But listen, please mark your calendar when the show comes back. You'll still get your notifications, but you also can share, and subscribe. We definitely enjoy it. And reach out to us. Tell us some things that you want. Like, we're listening. Like,
you can find us on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, and the Twitters. Let us know if there's interesting things that you want to talk about or see, or segments,
Tell us what you like. I mean, so again, we can either continue with Style Evolutions for the Hootie, or we can go do something else. I mean, it's up to you all. Like I said, there's some shows that we may review, some shows that we may have some stuff that we like, we might want to talk about. But right now, I don't really see too much of anything. But, if there's something you guys want to see, let us know. So, I mean, you have some time, gather your thoughts, just send us a message, drop us a dime, send me a text message, call me, email me, smoke signal, do something.
Exactly.
We listen, we don't bite unless you ask, I mean, I don't unless you ask. But
I mean, you can try it. We'll figure out where it's going, but don't bite me, because it's a wrap for you if you try to bite me. So just letting you know. But with that, I will say thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night. Mwah.